Jesky right now. Gerard McGrath, very happy with the work you're doing with his horse, Jessie.
Well, it's easy when you've got a good horse, and he is a good horse. He's done everything right this year. He was a pretty smart 4-year-old bumper horse last year. He just hadn't learnt to settle last year. And that was a bit of his undoing in when he ran in the champion bumper at Cheltenham. But this year now he's been very good.
But we really have a form guide via that Cheltenham bumper, because you were beaten 12 lengths by Champagne Fever. You then go to Fairyhouse, though, in the Grade 1 Royal Bond, and you beat Champagne Fever over hurdles by a length and a half. So either Champagne Fever's not quite as good a hurdler, or you're a much better hurdler than you were a bumper horse. I mean, your boy's just improving with every run.
Yeah, he is, and I think a lot to do with it is the fact that he's settling well. And probably he is a genuine 2-miler, whereas a probably Champagne native probably wants a bit further.
Yeah, it was really good performance the other day. I mean, there's sort of a fairly obvious plan with a horse like this. So what are you up to with Jesky next?
Well, the plan is at the moment to go to Leopardstown at Christmas for the 2-mile Grade 1 there, and then after that we'll just see. After that we have a 2-2 back at Leopardstown, or wait and go to straight to Cheltenham. It'll just depend on what we think, how he gets on, and how Leopardstown works out.
I know he made the odd, actually uncharacteristic mistake at Fairyhouse, which made the performance even better. But generally speaking, he's a really, really good jumper. He's not massive, but he's sort of stocky. So as a chaser in time as well, you'd imagine he'd quite like a fence.
Yeah, I think in the end that's a good way. He's only 4 now, so we've got a little bit of time to go before we have to cross that bridge.
Jessie, I mean, you know the standard of the sort of Supreme Novices hurdle. You know how good you have to be to win that race. He's already a Grade 1 winner. Do you think he's a real top-notcher?
Well, look, he has done nothing wrong so far. There's an awful lot of other very good horses out there. That everybody else has got some, but there's just probably high-class horses as him who are hoping to win it. So, we'll just have to wait and see what happens on the day.
What I love about him, Jessie, he's one of those horses you never quite know how good he is, because he travels and then he just pounces at the end, and you never quite know what's left in the tank.
No, probably not. Barry was saying that he did it easier in Nace than he did at Fairyhouse, but the Fairyhouse was a higher class race and they probably went a bit quicker in it. But he still managed to produce his turn of foot at the end.
Let's move on to Oscar's Well, who we all know was a pretty decent hurdler, but not quite able to go right to the very top, although obviously he won big races over hurdles and was chasing home Hurricane Fly and Unaccompanied and Thousand Stars and all the good ones. Brilliant at Punchestown, then a horrific fall, and then brilliant at Navan. We can see that sequence as we speak to you, Jessie. How excited are you by Oscar's over fences?
Well, I was, after the first time he ran, I was absolutely delighted. He was absolutely brilliant. He did nothing wrong. We went back to Punchestown, and he just completely missed the second fence and took a mother and a father of a fall.
He certainly did.
And a bad fall, and it really, he was very lucky to get up from it, because he was going flat out and landed, had a very heavy fall. And then not only to do that, what does he do next? He managed to sneak out when the ambulance came to pick up Robert. He managed to left the gate open a little bit, and he got out through the gate, and he was heading for Nace on the main road.
Well, to be honest, a lot of people do head for the Nace Court Hotel on an evening, but you wouldn't expect Oscar's Well to turn up. We've just seen that fall. It was horrific, but he was back to. I mean, clearly that fall hadn't dented his confidence or anything at Navan last time.
No, we gave him a bit of time to recover from it, and did a bit of physio on him and got hopefully all the sore spots out. And then he went to Navan, and I couldn't have been more pleased with him. He actually, down the back, he took off with Robert and was actually almost running away with him down to the fences. But he was very good, and Robert also made him listen over the last 2. So, that was very good as well. And he was careful when he was told to listen.
Jessie, this is one of those Irish horses, and there must be so many of them that have to run on ground that might not necessarily be ideal. I have no idea what Oscar's Well likes, but I'm thinking if he gets a bit of nicer ground at Cheltenham, that might be what he would enjoy.
Yeah, he would. When he was unlucky in the whatever they call it, the 2.5, 2.5 novice hurdle, and he made a mistake at the last. That was the first time that year he'd run on better ground,
Neptune,
and he absolutely loved it.
Yeah, the Neptune investment. That was behind First Lieutenant, wasn't it? Yeah.
No, yes, First Lieutenant and Rock on Ruby.
Yeah, no, terrific stuff. He really was a good hurdler. So at this stage, are we looking at a 2-mile hurdler though, or a 2.5, or even a 3-mile? Sorry, chaser for the future. I mean, it's hard to know what his best trip is with him.
Well, what we're going to do is we're going to run him over 2 miles. So there, and at Christmas he goes 2-1 at Christmas in the novice chase at Leopardstown, and then we'll probably go for the Irish Arkle, and then but we can make up our mind after Christmas whether we go up to 2.5 miles, or we stay at 2 miles, and also we'll look and see what the opposition's like.
You've got, I mean, a whole stable full of lovely horses. Just what's the latest on Steps to Freedom? Because we saw him at Dundalk not so long ago. Where is he at the moment?
He's just back in work, and he's going to be. He'll have an entry for the champion hurdle. We'll just see.
Wow.
How we get on with him, but heck, he looks very good. He's had a good break since he ran in the Irish Ledger. He hasn't had a race since then. So we'll just see how we get on with him.
So I mean, he's a horse who desperately needs the better ground, isn't it? I mean, if it was a good to firm champion hurdle, he'd be the one who'd love it probably best.
He would love it, but we'll wait and see what we have. But he's had a nice break now, and he's back in work, and we'll see how we get on with him.
You've got all sorts of horses to look forward to the season ahead. Out of those sort of big guns that we've just mentioned, what else is sort of rocking the Jessica Harrington boat?
I've got some nice 3-year-olds that'll run in 4-year-old bumpers. I've got a nice horse coming back after an injury, the Engineer, who rides in a beginner's chase. I ran a nice filly there last weekend, Madame Bouvray. She'll head on for some mares chases now. I've got some nice horses there. Just reminisce, keep them sound and keep them right.
Last couple of questions you'll be pleased to know, Jessie. First of all, you are the trainer of Moscow Flyer. Your jockey, Barry Geraghty, who I know you get on very well with, though, must be slightly annoying you at the moment, saying that Sprinter Sacra is the best ever. But as the trainer of Moscow Flyer, who was an Irish great, and certainly I've experienced that if you ever say anything against Moscow Flyer in Ireland, you're risking your life. But when you see Sprinter Sacra, how special do you feel Sprinter Sacra is?
Oh, I think he's very special. Look, he all he can do is beat what's put in front of him, and he's done that comprehensively over fences. Since he went over fences, he seems a very good jumper. He's a fine big horse. Look, he's ticking all the boxes, and he probably is better than Moscow. But Moscow did it over hurdles and over fences, and moved up to 2.5 miles. So, it's hard to compare them like with like. But, I think Barry's a very lucky young man to have been sat on two such good 2-mile chasers.
He certainly is. Actually, I've just got a mention. Just the Engineer, Jessie. Franklin's emailed in, or actually tweeted in, just very excited by the Engineer. Just give us some background to that horse for those who don't know.
He's actually he's still a maiden. He ran he was placed in a couple of bumpers, and he was placed in the hurdle race. And we then last year we went straight chasing, and he was second behind one of the Jiggintown's horses first time out. We thought he'd win, and then unfortunately got an injury, so we're coming back after an injury.
And final question, will you be putting on a posh frock for the Dundalk meeting later on this evening, which is, of course, the name of your horse in the 9 o'clock? What's about 11-1 shot at the moment? What sort of chance would you think you've got, Jessie?
I think she's got a good each-way chance. She needs 1.5 miles. She's a tough, genuine filly. She mightn't be the best in the world, but she's genuine. OK, she'll be trying her hardest. She's got a nice draw, if nothing else, to work from. Stall 2. Thank God. So, yeah, it is crucial around there over any distance. Yeah. So, look, Jessica, thanks very much for joining us this afternoon. We wish you well later on, and let's hope it's a good season ahead. Thank you very much.